Welcome to the Rudick Report. Today is January 24th, 2023. Today I want to discuss ESG, what it is and how it will affect you. ESG is an acronym and it stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, and is used as an investment strategy to encourage organizations to act responsibly. ESG works by analyzing organizations across three criteria: their environmental footprint, their stance on social issues, and their internal corporate governance. However, political activists use ESG to drive a progressive agenda, and ideological allies in the business community help push this agenda through economic coercion and ignoring democratic processes. You might be saying to yourself, what do I care what businesses do? I could care less. But one thing to understand is that ESG policies don't just affect the company, it affects everyone in that chain of that company. So every company that drives a truck for that company, that makes deliveries for that company, that provide resources to that company, like paper, stationery goods, food, water, or whatever type of widget you can think of, everyone in that chain must be part of the ESG program, or they cannot do business with them. And if you think this is years away, then think again, because Europe is adopting ESG standards as a mandatory law, so every company in Europe must adhere to these mandatory rules. So take a second to imagine for a moment that you're a potato farmer, and you provide potatoes to a fast food chain throughout the country. You will now have to adhere to the ESG standards, otherwise you're going to lose your contract. You will have to grow your crops the way they want you to grow them, and you will be subject to their rules and regulations, and you will have to adopt their environmental, social justice, and governance standards. Also, remember that everyone that supplies you with goods or services will need to abide by the ESG standards as well. Think about your savings. As a hardworking American, you more than likely have a 401k, pension, or retirement plan, and that's being managed by a third-party investment firm. This investment firm could be investing your money in companies that don't share your political beliefs or have ESG business models that contradict your livelihood. These third-party investors are also taking these 401k and retirement plans and investing in companies overseas like China. And we know that China does not adhere to the same standards as companies in America. And again, you might say, who cares? It's Europe, not the United States. But the ESG tentacles run deep. And it will require America to adhere to these standards as well, because we do business with the European Union. This initiative will be a fundamental transformation of the Western world, and this is taking place as we speak, and is proliferating within the business world at lightning speed. Companies in the United States that do business in Europe will have to adhere to the ESG system, which means these US-based companies will have to impose it on everyone in their supply chain globally, no matter who they are, where they work, or what size they are as a company. Every company in the chain must have an ESG score that meets the requirements set forth by this body, or it cannot do business. In a sense, they are forcing compliance. They will ask the participating company a series of questions related to their environmental goals, their stance on social issues, and their internal governance, and the participating company must have a score that is satisfactory. And if it's not, you cannot continue to do business with them until you improve your ESG score. Business owners understand that margins are tight as it is, and implementing ESG will not help the situation. ESG will impact inflation as well. The environmental measures meant to bring about a transition to clean energy will raise the costs of gasoline, natural gas, and heating oil for decades to come. These same measures will also impact the food supply chain, adding burdensome costs to farmers and ranchers that will inevitably be passed on to the consumer. As a business owner, part of running a successful business requires resources provided by a bank in terms of business loans. This ESG initiative cascades to the banks as well. So you see, it will permeate every aspect of business. Again, you might say, who cares? I'm not a business owner. Remember, we're at the beginning of this initiative, and it is rolling out at lightning speeds. I believe there will come a time in the not-too-distant future that these ESG rules will be cascaded down to the employee level, requiring employees of a company to have satisfactory ESG scores as well. Get ready for questions from your employer like, "Hey, Tom, why are you driving that gas-guzzling truck? Don't you care about the environment? Well, we're sorry, but until you start driving an electric car, we're going to reduce your pay by 10%. Or Tom, we noticed that you said you are not in favor of gay marriage on our social issues questionnaire. If you do not change your response, then I'm sorry, but we're going to have to terminate you as your beliefs do not align with our company. Well, don't think it's impossible, because it is possible and it could be coming to your company soon. Be alert to the ESG initiatives creeping into your company. Look at the website to see if ESG is mentioned. Be aware of the direction your company is taking and see if they will cave to the continued pressure of the environmental tyrants. In my next video, I will discuss steps you can take as an individual who doesn't own a business about the ESG rollout and how it pertains to your investments. Thank you for watching. If you find this content useful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're able, please visit my affiliate links to help support this channel. Thanks for listening, and until next time, this is the Rudick Report.